So, good night, teacher. Today I'm presenting the Mantra Series International Expansion Proposal and focus on the Colombian market. First, let me talk a little bit about Mantar. Mantar is a leading Mexican company in the manufacture of recycled wood pallets. And this is uh, with their mission of being sustainability, recycling, and logistic efficiently. Well, we already have the previous national and international experience. National because we already have plants in Apodaca, Nuevo León, and Pachuca right now, and we are near to open another one in Querétaro. Then we already have international experience. This is because we already export to the United States, but for the duties that they're facing up to the United States, to Mexico, we are looking to another country. And the objective right now is to expand to Colombia with the ISPM 15 certified pallets. Well, now, what is the select product? Is the heat-treated wooden pallet with the NOM 144, and that is part of the thermal treatment that that they can use for the wood to be export to another countries, and that is part of the ISPM 50 international certification credential to send that not only to the United States, to send to all over the world. So that there is a great advantage that we have. Of course, we saw high demand in logistic and sport sectors. This is because we already checked that we have the opportunity right now that we are looking for another opportunities, not only the United States and only for being Colombia and other parts of Latin America. And of course, the scalable production that we have from 60,000 pallets to 150,000 pallets units per day. So that is a very good number for us, and that is going to be very important to the expansion of this. Then moving to Colombia. Well, after evaluating several countries, we select Colombia because, first of all, we have the free trade agreement with Mexico with 0% tariff. That's very important for us because maybe we're going to be very compatible in that country. We saw high demand of pallets. That is something like 12 million pallets per year because they have a growth that feel of 6% growth per year. So that's very important to export their agriculture and retail sectors to the natural market. And that is because we know, for example, that they're very famous for their coffee and they need to send that to countries just like the United States, the rest of Latin America, the rest countries of Europe. So they need pallets that they can send that to another countries. And of course, we have a similar language, we have the culture, and we have the practices, maybe with some variation, but it's almost we are very similar between those countries, so it's so easy for us to make that business between us. Now, the entry and logistic strategy, the model, the direct export to distributors. This is because it's very easy for us to not have operations in the country. So it's cheaper actually for us do the distributors in that country. So we choose the income terms, the CIF, because is the commercial agreement that establishes that the seller, in this case us, is responsible to pay all the cost related with the transport and the insurance of the pallets until the destination port designed for the buyer, in this case the distributors in Colombia, because we want to be fair with them. So we know that we're going to take the responsibility in here in Mexico and send that to the product, but in Colombia is completely their responsibility. And the logistic route. Right now, we already have the Guadalajara Pachuca one, but we're going to include the part of Veracruz port and then moving to Cartagena and Barranquilla. The containers per month is something like 195, so it's produced into 70,000 pallets. Then moving to the financial analysis is a very detailed financial analysis that you can saw in the document. So the sale price is something like 510 Mexican pesos per unit, something like $25. The total unit cost is of 408 pesos, Mexican pesos with 50 cents. The margin per unit is 101 Mexican pesos with 50 cents. The break-even point is 296 pallets per month, and this is because we already have the route from Guadalajara to Pachuca, so it's not a significant increase in our cost. The only cost that we need to figure out is from Pachuca to Veracruz, but we already took the salary of the drivers, so there is something like 30,000 pesos per month, and that is included with the gas. So that is the reason for why the break-even point is so low. And the spec monthly profit is something like 7 million Mexican pesos. And that talk about that the break is solid with a 25% margin per unit. So that is important that we're going to have great profit. The FMEA, the main risk is the custom delays, timber price variability, and the risk of non-payment. The strategies, the training plus the document checklist, the framework contract with suppliers, and the bonuses and penalties with distributors. The first one is actually very simple to fix with the strategy of training and document the checklist. I think that is going to close up us to zero with the custom delays. But the timber price variability and risks of non-payment is a little bit more hard to explain. But in the case of timber price variability, we have two options. We can lock a price with the suppliers of wood with us, so that is going to help us to maintain the variable cost until 6 months. Or we have a financial product that is the option that you have the right to get or sell a product or an action. In this case, is going to be the wood until one price. So do you take the decision? So we have those options on the table. And of course, the risk of non-payment. Of course, just as a clarification, we have the letter of credit for all the exports. But of course, to be more exact on the payments, you are going to be bonuses or penalties with the distributors, just like better prices has a bonus or higher prices with the penalties. Well, now the strengths and strategy adjustments. The smart use of our own fleet, because we already have another fleet all over the Republic. So that is a huge advantage that we have in the logistic. So in that case, we need to see what is the better route and not only consider the part of Veracruz, maybe sending something to Manzanillo and going to the ports that are in the part of the Pacific Ocean in Colombia. The portfolio diversification, this is something we establish in Colombia, but then of establish, maybe see the opportunity to go to recycle or economical pallets. Of course, the strength in digital presence because they're going to face up more opportunities not only in Colombia, maybe in other countries because we're expanding right now to other countries in Latin America. Latin America is growing up just in gigantic steps, just like Argentina, Brazil, Ecuador, Peru. We have very excellent opportunities in those countries, and that is going to help us with the digital presence. And of course, the positionality, a sustainable and reliable brand, because it's not only the part of win money. We want to be a brand with personality and with heart. So with that, we are going to have those strategic adjustments for being more visible for the companies. Now the impact and viability, I think we have excellent impact, a positive impact in the company, that we have the profitable and scalable expansion. That is the reason for why it's so important our production of 150 pallets per day, because we can, uh, if we need to send more to another countries, this is the better option that we have. Of course, aligned with current capabilities that I already mentioned, the competitive advantage, because in Colombia, the pallet producers are more artisanal. They have not all the certifications, so maybe they're only useful inside of Colombia. But for international export, they need or pallets with the all the certification. Of course, a high return with low operational risk. Just how I mentioned, we don't need to put uh, operational way in Colombia, so that is very useful for us. And in conclusion, this expansion is profitable, operational, and viable. Strategically, consistently with Mantar series at DNA, so we already take the international step with intelligence, vision, and commitment. So that is going to help us to have a strong presence and lead the logistics sector in Latin America. So thank you so much, and have an excellent night, teacher.